Hello and welcome to Nursing 205. I'm Dr. Chris Hewitt. I'll be your professor for this course for the next 15 weeks. So if you don't know what Nursing 205 is, this is drug doses calculations taught in the perspective of the nursing student. You may not be a nursing student. This may be a prereq for something else, but just FYI, this is taught in the perspective of nurses. However, it is still accurate and is appropriate for other paths of medicine. So if you're a PA student, if you're a pharmacy student, this is still a really important class. Just don't be distracted if it says, I often say nurses or questions are posed from the nurse's point of view. I will tell you a little bit about myself. I am a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice. I graduated in 2021. I've been with Contra Costa College for 4 years now, since 2020, and I've taught this class that entire time. I'm also an ER nurse for the last 15 years. I work at the Trauma Center in Walnut Creek, and I'm also a military member. I'm actually going to be deployed during your class. However, I will be available via messaging in pronto or email if situations arise that you need to get a hold of me. So don't let that thwart you to taking the class. We will have communication with one another weekly. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen so you'll be able to see what I am looking at. There we go. So once you log into Canvas, you will see this should be your home page. It will give you my welcome instructions and tell you about the course a little bit and just some expectations that you might want to look at before you proceed with the class. I want to preface this with I'm not telling you to drop the class. I'm just letting you know that this is not a math class. If you take the basic math assessment, which I'll show you in a few minutes, and you don't pass it or you don't feel comfortable with it, you may want to consider dropping this course and taking a math class and then coming back to revisit after that, because I'm not here to teach you the basic concepts of algebra and how to solve equations and learn that process. I'm here to teach you of your foundation of algebra and math and how to utilize it towards drug doses calculations. So again, I'm not telling you you need to quit this class if you're not good with math. I'm just telling you if you don't understand the concepts of algebraic equations and how to solve them, you may want to take a math class prior to this class. So that's just an FYI. This also tells you how I prefer to be communicated with. I prefer Pronto because it's an immediate message to my handheld device. If you send me something on email, especially because I will be deployed, I may not have an opportunity to look at that but once or twice a week. So if you have immediate concerns or you want to get a hold of me, please send me a message on Pronto. I'll show you a little bit later how you can get into Pronto if you don't already have it and use it routinely. So once you go here, you can click this start button and this will take you to your modules page. Your modules page has, again, that home page, and then it has this navigating the course. This just tells you what the common areas of the Canvas that we'll be using. You'll routinely be using the announcements tab. That's where I will post any announcements, any emergent issues, things like that that you guys will need to know, as well as Pronto. If I post anything in announcements, I will also post it in Pronto. It shows you about the learning modules, how to get to them, any discussions, assignments, and quizzes. There are 4 practice quizzes, 4 exams, and 1 basic math assessment. The basic math assessment is due this Friday, August the 30th. So make sure that you are getting that done and turning it in and hitting submit before the due date, because it is graded and you'll get a 0. I would hate for anybody to fail because they got a 0 on a basic math assessment. I do want you to know that all exams and practice quizzes are open book and open notes. But don't let that fool you. You still need to watch all the lectures. You still need to do the book work in the ebook because people have routinely failed because they thought they didn't need to do these things when I made open book tests. They are still things that you have to think about, that you have to critically appraise, and that you have to do mathematical equations to figure out. So make sure that you're really paying attention to those things, okay? When it's talking about these side learning modules, if you don't see it when you log into Canvas, this is what your Canvas may look like. Hit these three little bars up here to the top left, and that will open up all these little blue toggle buttons that you can go through, okay? So if you don't have that, just make sure you click the button and that will open those up. Then you can hit next at the bottom, and that takes us to the welcome letter that we already saw. If you are new to Canvas and you have just questions about navigation, or you're not really sure what you're doing, again, I'm not going to be able to teach you that aspect of it, but I can give you some resources. There's a blue toggle button here that if you click it, it will take you to a Canvas badge course that will kind of help you learn to navigate Canvas and get comfortable and familiar with the different aspects of it, okay? There's also going to be a student support hub. If you're having an immediate issue and I can't help you via Pronto or email, then please get a hold of them, because they are the experts in the Canvas modality, and they'll be able to walk you through that. And there's a little link, you just click it right there. So we're going to go next. If you need to contact me, click that button right there. So contacting me, if you have an immediate issue, please use Pronto. Again, Pronto is going to be our main frame of communication between one another. It's immediate. It goes right to my handheld device, and I'm pretty quick to get on it, unless, of course, I'm in something emergent or do it flying, because I fly with the military. So if I'm flying and as soon as I land and I've gotten to a safe point, I will get there and I will do what you need. I will help you through whatever it is you need. If you send me an email, again, I don't know what means or the routine of being able to check my email I will have deployed, but I will try to get back to you. So non-urgent issues, please use my email. If it's something that can wait until I am able to check it. If you do have an urgent issue, you have to use Pronto. And we'll get into that a little bit later, how to do that. If you have a need or a want that you want to meet face-to-face, kind of, so to speak, Zoom to Zoom, if you want to meet with me one-on-one and to go over what you are having difficulty with, or what questions you have and you don't feel comfortable asking it in the Pronto app in the class, please send me a direct Pronto message, or even ask me if you can meet with me and we'll set up a Zoom time to get together, okay? So please don't think that because I am deployed that I won't be able to do that with you, because I will make time. Again, course communication, you have email, announcements. I will post everything in announcements and Pronto if there are any. The grading, you can expect your final grade within 72 hours. It's usually the day of. I usually get it done, but again, being deployed, I don't know how quickly I'll be able to do that, but I try to get it done pretty quickly. I do not give extra credit. There is no extra credit, so please don't ask me for any if you're not doing as well as you want to. Make sure you set up a time to meet with me so that we can see where you're falling behind and how we can move you forward, okay? Obviously, Zoom is going to be a big part of how we communicate. If we meet one-on-one, or if we have class Q&As, I'll send out Zoom links. We'll meet together at certain time and days. And then if you have any questions related to the work or the lectures, you can ask them at that point. And then those will all be recorded, and then I will post them for everybody else. And then we have the Pronto app, which I've spoken routinely about. That is going to be our main frame of communication. I highly suggest putting it on your phone and your laptop. I have it on both. This is the app right here. You can click into it. It enables you to sign up for it. And then you can also sign up using your desktop with the Pronto account. You will need your school email, your 4CD email address, and then it'll send you a link in that email, and then it'll sign you up, and then you'll be free to use it. And it should show up once you get into Pronto. My Pronto is over here. It's this little cloud icon, like somebody's talking. Once you get it, it should, when you're in the class, it should show up your class, and then any messages. For instance, if you're in, say this semester, I have these 3 classes, you can hit that button right there and it will go directly to your class. And then you can ask me a question, or you can see all the other questions that other students have asked. Disclosure statement for drug doses calculations. I teach off of PowerPoints. I write on the PowerPoints, and then I record all of the lectures, and then you guys are watching those recordings at your leisure. Because again, once we get into the syllabus, you'll see that this is an asynchronous class. But I cannot fully communicate everything that comes from the ebook. The ebook we'll get into in a couple of slides after this, gives you the rest of the information. Again, when teachers teach, we can't just go over word for word everything in the book. It's the student's responsibility to go in there and read the material and then use what we do on PowerPoints and lecture, put them together to kind of make the whole picture. You know what I mean? So make sure that you're not only listening to the lectures that are recorded, you're not only doing the practice quizzes and following along with the PowerPoints that I provide you, but you're also going into the ebook and doing the practice assessments. Okay, those are really important. All right, so our ebook bundle. I've made it really easy for you. They do have a 20% off with free shipping if you use this promo code right here. So just copy and paste this code. And I've made it easy for you to go to the book that you need. So you'll just click this icon right here, and it will take you directly to the site where you can purchase the book. And it is the Drug Dosage Calc 360 third edition. Do not buy the second edition because I don't have a class built in there. You have to get the third edition. And then once you check out, you can use that promo code FYEZB6T6. And that should give you 20% off and free shipping. So make sure you follow along and do that, okay? So now let's get into our syllabus. So this is drug dosage calculations offered at Contra Costa College, Nursing 205 with your specific class ID number. And this is your fall 2024 syllabus. So this is going to be an online asynchronous course. So what does that mean? So asynchronous means that we are not going to have designated times that we meet each week, like the traditional classroom, where you have to go at a certain time and a certain day every week. This is going to be you do things at your time. I.e. watching the lectures when it's convenient for you, looking at the PowerPoints when it's convenient to you, doing the ebook when it's convenient to you. However, when you get to your practice quizzes and exams and your basic math assessment, they have due dates, and we'll get into those dates a little bit later. So we're not going to have a designated time where you have to be on the computer and you have to meet with everybody. We're not going to do that this semester. We're trying to make it more convenient for students, especially those busy students that work full-time or they have children. I get that 100% because I had 3 kids going through school. So we're trying to make it more convenient for students, and hopefully this works out. Again, we went over my contact information. Here it is. And again, all students are required to have and use the Pronto app. If you tell me you missed a communication and I can pull it up on Pronto and you don't have Pronto, you're really not going to have a leg to stand on, because everything in Pronto is really important for you to be looking at daily. So again, this course complies with the American Disabilities Act. If you have any special needs, please inform me. You do not have to do it out in the classroom format. You can send me a private email or a direct message, which I prefer on Pronto. And then make sure that you're getting a hold of the DSPS office, because they need to send paperwork and work with you, and then they send it to me to sign so that we make sure we meet your needs, okay? I'm not going to read the syllabus word for word. It is available to you to read, and this follows along with the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. So drug dosage calculations for nursing students. This course represents math skills and concepts needed by professional nurses to safely practice medicine in the clinical setting. It focuses on how we can better provide safe medication practices to our patients, and it includes things like conversions, because a lot of times in the US we don't use the metric system, so we need to learn how to convert to a metric system from the household system. Regarding interpreting medication labels, how do we calculate safe doses? How do we label IV bags? And how do we discover or calculate IV drip rates? How to use military time. A lot of people don't know that aren't in medicine. How do we give enteral food feedings? What does enteral mean? What does parenteral mean? We're going to go through all of these concepts in the next 15 weeks. You are allowed to use a calculator. You certainly do not need to buy any fancy calculator because you're really only going to need your plus sign, your subtraction sign, your division sign, and your multiplication sign. You do not need a fancy calculator. You can use your cell phone calculator or your laptop calculator. Certainly, please do not go out and purchase any expensive calculator. It's not needed. Again, I'm going to reiterate that this is not a math class. I'm not here to teach you math. I'm here to build on your foundational skills that you should already have, having gone through high school and gone through some of your other prereqs, to make drug doses calculations. So if you struggle with math or you're not familiar with algebraic equations and how to decipher those, or if you don't do well on the basic math assessment, I would highly recommend perhaps dropping this class, maybe seeing if you can get into a math class, and then coming back and revisiting that after you hone in on those foundational skills that you'll need. So this class is intended for students who are doing their prereqs for the nursing program. It is not isolated for nursing program students. So if that does not apply to you, please understand that most of the questions will be posed from a nurse's point of view in the clinical setting. It doesn't mean that it's not pertinent to you. It's just how the course was designed. It's also 2 credits. You get 2 credits for the class. It's online and asynchronous, which we've already gone over the definition. We will not have any formal classes. All exams will be taken on the day listed in the syllabus, we'll get into a little bit later. And you have from 7 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. This says 11 o'clock, but that should say 11:59, so right before midnight, to complete and submit your exam. Does that mean at 11:30 that you can start your exam and because you started before the cutoff and then it turns in at 12:30? Absolutely not. It will not take it. So if you don't hit submit your all 25 questions by 11:59 p.m. on the day of the exam, it will not give you a grade and you will get a 0. And there's absolutely nothing that I will be able to do about that. So make sure that you're really paying attention and you're not delaying, okay? PowerPoints are going to be posted in Canvas. Your quizzes and practice exams are posted in Canvas, and all of the lectures are recorded and posted in Canvas right underneath the coordinating PowerPoint. I used the announcements and the Pronto for a main form of communication, which we've already discussed. So here are the course objectives. I'm not going to read them all. They kind of go along with what I went over this course was about. I'll let you look at all of them. But by the end of the semester, you should be able to, or at least be familiar with all 12 or all 13 of these concepts, okay? So again, this is an asynchronous course. It gives you flexibility as the student, but it also gives you more responsibility because we're letting you do things at your own time, at whatever works for you. But it also makes you 100% responsible for going over the material. I can't come to your house and say, okay, it's time to do your lecture. It's time to look at your PowerPoint. It's time to do your ebook. That is 100% going to be placed on your lap. Successful students manage their study time around your examinations. I would not wait till the weekend before to start studying and do look at all the lectures. That would not be productive for you. Each week you'll have assigned chapters from the textbook, which will have coordinating PowerPoint lectures and lecture videos. It is estimated that you should spend about 6 hours each week for the course, i.e. to watch the videos, to look at the ebook, and then to look at the PowerPoints and maybe to figure out do your practice quiz. Each week on a given day from 5 to 7 your time, I don't know where I'll be in the world, but your time will have It's going to be a different day every week, again, because I don't know what days I will be off. We'll have to get together for any questions that might come up, any kind of a Q&A type situation, and that will be recorded and also posted in announcements and on Pronto. You'll have access to and complete all 4 exams. They're multiple choice, multiple select, or SATA, and fill in the blank. So you must take the exam on the scheduled date. Again, I give the dates later in the syllabus, but you have to take it in that time frame that I told you. It won't let you start it before 7 a.m. and it will not let you submit after 11:59 p.m. It's not our policy to give back points on any question unless you can point out a typographical error or submitted textbook reference for validation that the exam question is incorrect. I've given these quizzes and exams over the last 4 years and kind of honed in on them, and they're kind of, at this point, they're pretty solid. There's not really any defutable information that you're going to be able to come back and get points back. However, if there is a mistake, I'm happy to go look at it and assess it and see if that is something that we can do. Okay. If you are having any troubles, you're not doing as well on exams or the practice quizzes, please reach out to me. Let's get together. Don't wait until you're on exam number 4 and tell me that you're having problems. I'm going to have 120 plus students. I'm not going to sit there and be able to sit there and look and say, oh, the student looks like they might need some help. Maybe I'll reach out. That's not my responsibility. If you are having trouble, please reach out to me so that I can intervene and kind of assess what's going on and maybe help you go forward a little bit better than you are. That said, I also want it noted that these tests are going to be open book, open notes. You'll be able to use your ebook. You'll be able to use your calculator, your notes that you take, your PowerPoints. But it's still going to be your responsibility to make sure you look at the information and you do study, because it's a little bit harder than people think when they see ebook. And I have students who don't study and then they come and take an open book test and they don't do very well. Again, this is our ebook. If you didn't like the link on the modules that we saw earlier, you can also click it from here and it will take you directly to the ebook that you need to purchase. It is the 3rd edition of the Dosage Calc 360 from F.A. Davis. In order to be successful in this class, you'll obviously need a computer and internet access to complete the course. There's no other way to participate in an asynchronous class. There are a limited number of computers available to borrow from the school. So if you don't have your own access to a laptop or to a desktop, see what the availability is of the school library before you commit to the class. Additionally, there are several computers in the library, and internet access is available in the parking lots, the library, and all school buildings. So if you don't per se have access to internet or reliable internet at your home, then I go to the school on the day of your exam at whatever time you need to take it and go to one of those places and use their free Wi-Fi. Again, as far as prerequisites, I highly suggest that you take a math class prior to this program if you don't have good foundational math skills, algebraic math skills to be more specific. In the ebook is going to, at the end of each chapter, there will be module assessments. They are extraordinarily helpful in helping you practice and see what kind of questions the exam is going to have, to kind of familiarize yourself and to give you an idea of what to expect. You're going to have 4 practice quizzes as well in Canvas. Those are all available from day 1. But they do have due dates. They're all due on the day of the coordinating exam. So for instance, practice quiz 1 will be due on the same day that exam number 1 is due. So you'll get 2 zeros if you don't complete those by 11 o'clock, 11:59, the day of the exam. So please make sure that you're paying attention to that. I would highly suggest not taking the practice exam the day, or the practice quiz the day that you have to take the actual exam. It's there to help you practice and get ready for it, and putting yourself, basically you're going to be taking 2 tests if you do it on the same day. But that 100% is up to you, because this is asynchronous and it is 100% your responsibility to decide how you want to navigate the course. Disclosure statement, we already went through that earlier. Announcements, again, please check them regularly. Also, please check your Pronto regularly. This will be where I provide information. Your Pronto is, the app looks like this, and you'll see a little red number up there with how many messages that you have either from me or from other students in the Pronto app. So make sure you're really using that and looking, because they may ask a question that you are thinking about. So really look at what students are writing as well. I'm not really going to go into what the Pronto app is. It's just a format for communication between students themselves as well as the professors. One thing I really do want to pose is Netiquette, how we present ourselves when we're doing this online format. It's very easy to get angry and write something really quickly that's inappropriate, and that is monitored not only by myself, but by Pronto, by Canvas, and by the school. So when you post in Pronto or the announcements, if you ask a question, make sure that you understand how we interact online appropriately. It's called Netiquette. So we have a couple of rules for online learning and classroom learning. They're virtually the same. If you wouldn't say it in a classroom to me or to another student, then you should not say it online, right? You're going to have to study, you're going to have to take notes, and you're going to have to attend class and participate in discussions just like you would if you were taking a live class. Your words and your gestures and your facial expressions communicate your thoughts and observations to your classmates and teachers. But when you express them online, sometimes we can't see all those things, and all we're seeing is what you're writing, and it is open to interpretation and perception. So here are 10 kind of rules that you want to follow when you're talking about Netiquette. Make sure you identify clear in all your communications, right? Begin with, hi, this is Jason, or hi, Dr. Hewitt, I have a question. So just like you would if you were, talking to somebody, raising your hand, say, Dr. Hewitt, I have a question, right? Do the same thing on there, okay? And always tell me, if you send me a direct message, not in the class format, if you send it one-on-one, just want to talk to me, let me know what section you're in, because when you send me a direct message, I don't get to see what section, and I have 3 sections. So I want to be able to go find your grade without having to go through all 3 classes to do so. So if you send me a direct message, let me know what section you're in. For instance, this one says, this is Hannah K, Criminology 101. So you would say Hannah K, Nursing 205, section 0325, or whatever it is, right? Review what you write, interpret it objectively before you hit send. If you're upset, if you've had a bad day, if there's a plethora of things that could be going on in the world that just make us very bluntly write, make sure that you don't do that. Calm yourself, read, and reread what you wrote to make sure that it is not only conveying your thoughts and what you want to me to understand, but you're doing it in a way that doesn't show me that you're angry or that is upset or inappropriate. For obvious reasons, if you would not say it to someone's face, do not say it online. This is not the time for any feuds, any smarties, anything like that. I am 100% okay with directness. I'm very kind of blunt and direct myself. However, I would never be inappropriate and say anything that would make someone feel bad. Because again, it's about interpretation and perception. It doesn't matter if you didn't write it with the intent of malice. If someone perceives it that way, then we have a problem when we have to have a conversation. Don't assume everyone understands where you're coming from. I've had lots of students come in and they ask a question, and I say, well, I haven't had any other students with this problem, and I'm not telling you that I don't think your problem is ornate or specific, but I'm letting you know that everyone else was okay with this. And then when the reply comes back, well, I don't care about any other students, well, that's inappropriate, right? That got actually said to the class forum, that not only upsets me, but it upsets your classmates, because now they say, oh, okay, well, you're not here for anybody but yourself. So just make sure that if you don't assume that we understand where you're coming from. If you have a specific need or something that pertains just to you, please send me a direct message so that maybe I can fashion a problem solution that meets your needs and your specific situation. Don't spam with anybody. So don't forward emails, don't forward any links regarding your political views, your spiritual views, what you bought shopping, and that there's deals down at Kmart. Or, you know, don't do anything if you sell something on the side. Oh, I sell Scentsy. You know, no, that's not the place for that. We don't do that. You can use emoticons. You can give thumbs up. You can give a smile. You can give hearts. Those are common reactions to if I post something or if another student posts something. Those are 100% accurate. That way it saves you time from writing. Great, I understand. You know, thumbs up. That's exactly what that means. Thumbs up. I understand. Okay. Respect others' privacy. Please don't share other people's information, what you've heard about somebody else, their emails, their phone numbers, your phone number. Don't do any of that, please. Remember, if it's on the internet, it's everywhere. And if you put it out there, you cannot take it back. Okay. If it's out there, it gets recorded. Pronto has access to it and the school will have access to it. Follow these 10 rules, right? And forgive and forget. If you're offended by someone, something someone said online or posted, keep it in mind that you may have misunderstood their intentions and give them the benefit of the doubt. If you have a problem with somebody said, please don't address it in the class forum. Shoot me a pronto message. If it was me, you can certainly shoot me and we'll try to figure out where the miscommunication was, or if I was just blatantly off. And you don't want to talk to me, I will ask for who you can talk to, and I will gladly give you my nursing supervisor at the college, Jackie Wright, Professor Wright, Wright. So please just remember that we are human, we're fallible, we make mistakes, and I don't hold anybody to a higher standard than I hold myself, okay? And so I may make mistakes. I may say something in error or misinterpret something. Just call me on it. I'm 100% okay with criticism. All right, so those are our 10 netiquettes, okay? In questions in online courses, it's normal to have many questions about things related to the course, how to navigate things, the ebook, clarification on assignments, materials, etc. Post them in Pronto, because sometimes if I don't have the answer, one of your students are a lot quicker to answer than I am, who have already navigated and know how to do everything. So please post it in Pronto, because guaranteed, if you're thinking it, there's another student that's either going through it and know how to get through it, or they have the same question they want to know as well. Help each other out, be good peers, right? We check Pronto frequently, and I am happy to respond. And sometimes I'm not even quick enough, the students help each other. But we do absolutely not post questions regarding the exam in Pronto, as some students may have not taken it, because it is asynchronous and you have that large time frame on the day of the exam to take it. I don't want you giving out questions. Plus, it's against the student code of conduct. You do not put test questions on Pronto. If you have a question about the practice exam, the basic math assessment, or any of the exams, send me a private message, a direct message in Pronto, and I will see if I can walk you through it without giving you the answer. Sometimes I might say that came directly from the lecture, and you can go back and look at the lecture, or I might say that's directly from the ebook, and then you can go back, because I'm not going to give you the answer. But don't post any questions to Pronto in the class forum. Your modules, those will be where you find all of your PowerPoints, your lectures, and your practice quizzes. Those are my virtual office hours that we kind of already talked about. Participation policy, again, because it's asynchronous, the only expectation of participation is that you take your math assessment, your practice quizzes, and your exams on the date and times that they are due. These are some important dates. The last day to add a course is 9/8/24. The last day to drop a course with a refund, again, with a refund, is 9/6. The last day to drop without a W is 9/8. And the last day to drop with a W is 11/15. If you don't drop it yourself, after the first week, I can't drop you. You'll get a WF. If you just keep getting zeros and not showing up, you'll get a WF, which means that you won't get that off your transcript until you retake the course. So please don't let that happen to you. Our gradings in the course, you can always see what your grades are on once you've taken your exams in the grade toggle over here to the left. Here's what each are worth. You've got the basic math assessment, which is 100 points. You've got 4 exams, which are 25 questions each, and they are worth 100 points. And then you have 4 practice exams. Each are worth a total of 48 points. So one may be worth 12 and 13. They're each question is 1 point. So you get a total of 48 points. And the total points you can get for this course is 548. In nursing, because this is a nursing course, you have to have at least a 75 or higher to pass, which means you have to have a minimum grade of 74.5, which would round up to a 75. So if you don't get a 74.5 or higher, you will have to retake the class or just accept the grade that you got. And an A is 89.5 to 100. A B is 79.5 to 89.4, and a C is 74.5 to 79.4. And then you see what the D and the F are. Late work will not be accepted. All due dates are firm. The basic math assessment, again, will be due Friday, 8:30, which is 4 days after your first class. So you have your first technical class on Monday. You have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to complete it. All the dates on your practice quizzes as well as your exams, they're all firm. If you don't hit submit by that 11:59 hour on the day they are due, you will get a 0. There will be no conversation to be had. There can be a million excuses, i.e. if you have an emergency and on the day of the exam and the final the exam, not the practice quiz, because you have several weeks to do the practice quiz. If you have an emergency, I'm the one who gets to judge what an emergency is. Send me a message and let me know in pronto, a direct message, not in the class. And I will determine if that meets what my expectations of an emergency are. I.e., we had a student a couple of semesters ago, she gave birth on the day of an exam. Granted, she still took the exam, but she gave birth that day and then took the exam that night. But she had let me know just in case something went wrong, she wouldn't be able, and I was fully supporting not having her having to take that exam, but she really wanted to take it, so she took it from the hospital. But those things like that, that is an emergency, and I will completely understand, and I will make accommodations for you specifically on a case-by-case situation, okay? So we do have an academic honesty code and a student code of conduct at this school. It means that you cannot cheat, you can't plagiarize, you cannot collaborate with others unless I tell you that you can for an assignment, and you can't let another student log into your Canvas and complete your work for you. Failure to follow this policy will result in disciplinary action. You can be dropped from the course, you can be dropped from the school. Okay, it could affect your academic standing at college. This could also affect any student loans or grants or things like that you have. So please make sure you take this very seriously. If you do have any special needs, the DSPS office, you can get a hold of them directly from here. Here's their email address, and this actually takes you to an external site, this one right here, that help you assist with this course, okay? Again, here are all of our learning outcomes. I'm going to let you read those. And then we have our syllabus and our dates and times. So first day of class technically is 8:26, which hopefully you're all watching this orientation video. And it is mandatory to watch it. I'm going to sign it off, and you won't be able to move forward until you watch this course, okay? Or watch this video. And then you have a basic math test. It is required, and it's due by 8:30, August 30th, 2024 by 11:59 p.m. So if you don't have it submitted, the last question submitted by 11:59, if you submit the last questions at 12:01, you're going to get a 0 for the whole thing. It has to be completed by 8:30 at 11:59 p.m. at night, okay? So hopefully you understand that. And then the very next week is a school holiday. It is Labor Day. And then the next week, and I haven't broken off into weeks like this, even though it's an asynchronous course, to kind of give you an idea of how to kind of pace yourself, if that makes any sense. So that first week at your leisure, look at the 2 PowerPoints on safety and medication, as well as systems of measurement, and then watch the coordinating lectures with those. And then to also kind of reaffirm all the information from the lectures and the PowerPoints, you're going to go to the ebook and go to those coordinating chapters and do the module assessments as well as read the chapters in the book, okay? And we'll look a little bit later what the ebook looks like, okay? The following week, there's only one that you should do that week, so that's a little shorter. And then also look at the video and then do your coordinating section in the ebook. And then on 9/23 is the day that you have to take your first exam. This is also the day that your first practice quiz is due no later than. All the practice quizzes are due. You can access them as soon as you go through the modules on day one. But they all are due on their individual times. It will tell you in Canvas when those due dates are, as well as your syllabus. So exam 1 and practice quiz 1 are both due on 9/23. And they're all Mondays, and they're due by 11:59 p.m. that night, okay? So make sure you get that done and submitted before 11:59. We move on. You can see that there's more lectures, and then we have another exam on 10/28. Your practice quiz 2 and exam 2 are both due on 10/28, no later than 11:59 p.m. We have another week of lectures and videos. We have Veterans Day on 11/11. There's no work, there's no school due to this week. And then the following week, you have a pretty big week. You have 3 lectures and 3 PowerPoints. So if you want to move any of those up to this one day on 11/4 that week, do it however you want, but there's a lot that week. So make sure you watch the coordinating videos. Then you have your third exam on 11/25. Your practice quiz 3 and exam 3 are both due on that day by 11:59 p.m. Then the next week you have your last 2 lectures. I'm sorry, your last 2 lectures. And then you'll have your final exam on 12/9. This is the last day of class, so to speak. Your practice quiz 4 and your exam 4 are both due by 11:59 on 12/9/24. And then sometime that week, I should have your final grade posted, and you should see that reflected on your transcript. So that is our syllabus. It is available for you at any time you want to look at it. So next we have tech support. If you have any issues, if you need the library, I have links to the library here. If you have any Canvas kind of techie issues with your laptop or with a desktop, there's a tech support there. And then if you're having any Canvas questions or concerns or hard to navigate and don't really understand what you're doing, go to this Canvas support hub and they can help you there. Learning content, don't worry about this one. I'm going to erase that one. And then here is a Pronto training link. For anybody who is not familiar and has never used Pronto, we have a Pronto training link right here. You can go into it and it will go to the kind of a quick start guide. I believe there's like, there's also, let me show you real quick. Yeah, there's a little scan, a QR code that you can scan so that you can download it onto your phone. It's a little quicker way to do that. And then it'll walk you through what you need to do there. All right, so once you've gone through all of those, you'll be able to go to your basic math test. So you'll start here at navigating the basic math test, and it'll give you some kind of pearls. This is in this section, there's a copy of the conversion table, which we'll look at next, as well as your basic math assessment. That is just going to tell you where you stand as far as basic algebra, very basic algebra. Again, all you will need to know is how to add, subtract, divide, and multiply whole numbers, fractions, and decimals, okay? It's suggested if you don't do well on this, highly recommend that you drop this class and take a math class before re-attempting this course. It is a fill in the blank, so the right answer will not be on there. And each question gives you a specific way to answer it. For example, if it tells you to round to the nearest tenths or the hundredths, for a decimal, then you need to make sure you're doing the tenths and the hundredths and that you know what those placeholders are after the decimal. If it tells you to reduce to a proper fraction, then you will need to know how to do that. You need to know what a proper fraction is. If you need to write a fraction, for example, the number 1/4 will be written as 1/4. No spaces, not 1 space/4. Don't do it that, or it will give it to you wrong. 1/4 or a combination thereof. If you need to write the number 2 3/5, you write the whole number 2, you have a space, and then 3/5, okay? Leaving a space between the whole number and the fraction. Obviously, while you're taking this, if you have any questions or concerns, don't keep going through with the same question. While you're taking it, send me a message in Pronto so I can kind of give you real time, kind of walk through it with you, okay? Here is the conversion table. These are common conversions that you will need to have memorized. A very big one, and they'll all be in the lectures as well, is the tablespoon, the teaspoon, the ounces, kilograms to pounds, and meters and inches. So you'll definitely need to know those verbatim, but this is just kind of a resource for you. You may use it on your exam. You may use it on your practice quizzes. So have this available, either print it up or have it if you have dual screens, or have it somewhere available so that you can go back and use it. And then it kind of gives you, if you keep going further down, it gives you kind of basic formulas of how to do drug calculations, but we're going to go through all of these in class. And then these are, I did not create this. These are the places where I got all of that information from. And then you'll have your basic math assessment. It's 14 questions. Again, it's addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, whole numbers and fractions and decimals. So make sure that you, if you want to do all your work and then check it with a calculator, great, that's perfect. But please make sure you check it with a calculator. And then it tells you, please don't put commas in your answers for long numbers. It wouldn't let me add commas in there for whatever reason. So if you have the number 1 million, just put 1 in all the zeros. Don't put any commas, please. And just make sure you count your zeros. And between now and then, I may figure that out. So I will let you know if that changes. All right, so after you go through that, you'll be able to go into your first module, and you'll be able to look at the first lecture as well as the first PowerPoint. And you'll have to go through each of these consecutively before you can go to the next. It's kind of a prerequisite so that you actually open and read and look and listen to everything, okay? And then you'll have your first practice quiz, which will be a summation of everything, all the modules in Module 1, as well as kind of a preemptive reflection of what you'll see on the first exam. So I would not wait until the day of the exam to do this. I would try to do it maybe the weekend before, just so you kind of prep yourself for your exam. And then you'll have the same thing in Module 2, 3, and 4. You can go through all of those. You have to go through them before you can move on to the next. If you come to me in Pronto and say, hey, I can't open Module 3, well, I'm going to ask you, did you open and look at every single tab in Module 2? Because you can't move forward unless you do. And it tells you right here, you have to prerequisite Module 2 links and practice quiz before you can come in here, okay? So make sure that you're doing that. And if you send me a Pronto saying you can't, I'll give you a gentle reminder saying, okay, well, this is why you can't, okay? All right. And there's another place to get to your syllabus. If we meet via Zoom, you can go to Tech Connect right here, and there will be a link here for you. All your quizzes are right here whenever it's time to take your final exam. If you don't, and your practice quizzes, you can, and your basic math assessment, you can also reach from this tab over here. But whenever it's time for your first exam on that date, it will tell you what day and time it's due. You can just click here, and then you can go into the exam, and it will give you an option to start it. And once you start, you will have 2 hours to complete it. It's 25 questions. I've never had anybody take longer than the 2 hours. Even students who needed extra time never needed it. All right, so that is it for that. I'm going to stop sharing really quickly. Actually, I'm going to go into the ebook so you can see what it looks like. Okay, stop sharing. All right, now we're going to look at what your ebook looks like, okay? Here we go. So you'll either be in course 3253, 3426, or 3427. I will have your class ID on the home page. Once I create your class, it will be this right here, depending on which class you have. You'll have to have that in order, once you buy the book, to sign in. Okay, if you don't have that, you won't be able to sign in. So when you get into your significant class, there it is. Confirm. You should have a page that looks something like this. And you'll want to go into, and you'll have to start each one. Like, here's your basic math, and that'll kind of give you an overview on addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. In order to move on to and to get into the class, you'll be able to hit the start button, and then it'll go through each of those sections, and then you can see how it kind of mirrors the order and what we do online in the Canvas section. So the first week after orientation, you have safety and medications and system of measurement. So after you look at the PowerPoints online in Canvas, you listen to my lectures, you need to go into the ebook and go into each of these sections and hit start, so that you can kind of do the module, look at what they have written and read the chapters, and then go into the module assessments. Okay. And you'll do that. I have a coordinating one for each and every one of the lectures that we will give live in class. Okay, that was orientation. If you have not watched the orientation, I highly suggest that you do so, because you're not going to be able to move forward and be successful in this class without having done so. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via Pronto. Again, it's going to be the fastest method. There are several ways. I put it on Canvas that you can get Pronto if you have not already added it to your smartphone or to your desktop or laptop. And I look forward to working with all of you, and I hope that we all have a great 15 weeks and that we have a lot of success. Have a great day.